Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm a wedding and lifestyle photographer based out of Niagara, Canada, and I'm currently moving away from weddings and focusing more on lifestyle family sessions. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably noticed that I've been posting a lot of family sessions, and that's the reason, is because next year I'm moving away from shooting at least big weddings. Maybe I'll still do some small ones here and there, but I'm moving away from the wedding scene and I'm gonna be focusing on family, lifestyle, motherhood, newborn sessions. I think it's just really grown on my heart and I'm now enjoying them a bit more than I do enjoy weddings. I've been doing weddings now for about 11 years and it's been amazing, but I definitely feel like the standards and the expectations have just gone through the roof. And I don't love the pressure that I feel anymore when I'm shooting weddings. And so I just find that when I'm doing family sessions, I can relax a lot more, I can enjoy, and I just don't have to worry about, something going wrong or the memory cards corrupting. Thankfully, that's never happened, but there's just a lot less worries when it comes to shooting families. So that's what I'm gonna be focusing on for the next year. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably noticed that I've only been posting family lifestyle sessions. And so that's because I wanna book more of those types of sessions. So today I'm gonna chat with you guys about family sessions, my little tips and tricks, the camera, gear, equipment that I use, and just everything in between. So stay tuned and we'll get right into it. So the camera that I use for shooting family sessions is my trusty old Canon 5D Mark III, which I know is a bit of a dinosaur at this point, but honestly I just love it. I love the colors that come out of it. Just to clarify, I know a couple years ago I posted about switching to Sony, and I did use the camera for a few months. I enjoyed it, but I ended up switching back to Canon. I just like the colors more, and at the time I liked the system more as well. So right now I am using the 5D Mark III, but I do also have a Canon R6. I just don't love the colors as much, but it's great for receptions, low light situations at weddings, that kind of thing. But I love my Mark III for family sessions. So with my 5D Mark III, I have the Sigma 50mm 1.4 lens on it. I just find that it's the sharpest lens on this camera for me, and it still has that really nice bokeh, looks the closest to film for me, and that's because a 50mm is very equivalent to the medium format 80mm that I use on my Contax film camera. So I love the 50, I love the way it looks, and this is basically the only lens and the only setup that I use during a family session. For the settings, I'm mostly shooting at 2.0 basically the whole session. Sometimes I'll move down even to 1.8 or 1.4 if I'm only shooting the kids or just one person in the frame. But generally I never go more than 2.0 unless maybe I'm photographing a group of people. So here is my trusty Contax, which I use for my medium format film camera, and I love shooting with this. There's just a quality about film that I can't always match with digital. And don't get me wrong, there's sometimes where I love my digital images even more than the film. They can be a bit sharper, capture the moment, especially if it's a fast moment. But when it comes to film, I love the colors that come out of it, and it gives me a reference to match my digital images to. So even if I end up liking maybe the digital better, maybe it was a sharper image, I now have a reference for the colors and know how to edit my digital images. So with my Contax, I'm usually using two different film stocks. I have Portra 400 and I have Fuji 400, which has been discontinued, but my local camera store still sells it every month, so I do pick up a few rolls of that. I use Portra 400 most of the time just because that's what I've gotten used to after the last couple of years. And I love the colors on it, especially the fact that, I can have a higher shutter speed and not have to worry about low light situations as much as I did with Fuji. So I have been enjoying this. It took a little bit to get used to, and sometimes I have to tweak my film scans a bit more, but I do love the colors that come out of it, especially during fall time. It just really brings out the warmth in the fall colors. And then Fuji, I still love it for summer days and the way it gets the greens. Like I love the kind of minty greens that it gives me in the summer. And also it's great for harsh lighting situations. I love the way it looks midday with a lot of sun. That's where Fuji really shines, whereas Portra looks beautiful even on an overcast day. You still get those rich colors even without the sunlight. Now, my settings with my Contax camera are almost always the same. I'm always shooting at 2.8, and I do have my 80mm Zeiss lens on here, which I mentioned is basically equivalent to a 50mm on my digital camera. So I love shooting at 2.8. I feel like that gives me that nice softness while still getting things in focus and still getting things crisp. Sometimes I will shoot at 2.0 if, again, I'm doing a solo portrait or there's a certain type of feel that I want to get from the image to really create that softness. But it's rare that I'm ever going past 2.8. I just find that 2.8 works best for the look that I'm going for. I talked about metering in a different video, but I'm just gonna quickly share that when I'm shooting portrait, I always keep my bulb out and I have my light meter set to 200. And that's how I rate my film. So I always meter in the shadows, so at the front of the subject. And that is basically where I hold my light meter, and I'll meter, again, away from the sun, making sure that the sun isn't hitting the bulb. Okay, now I want to talk about the different items that I bring to my sessions. Number one is a blanket. So I'm going to show you guys a few pictures of the linen blankets that I have. But there's two linen blankets that I use. One is a bit smaller, a little bit darker, and then the other one is, I guess, more neutral, and it's really big, which is nice for families. So both of these linen blankets that I got, they're both tablecloths off Etsy. So I'll post a link below of the ones that I purchased in the natural linen, but although it says tablecloth, they look great as blankets. You would never be able to tell the difference, and I find that they're not too pricey. So I think I spent maybe 200 on the largest one, which I also use as a backdrop sometimes when I hang it over a tree. And then the smaller one was maybe around $100. And I mean, that can fit a family of 4, no problem as well. So the bigger one is really big. It's not necessary for families of 4 or 5. But it's great, again, for me to use as a backdrop over trees and just let it hang and do some solo portraits on it. Or if I have a really large family, it's just nice to have the extra fabric. The other blanket that I have used is from Locust Collection, so I'll make sure to link that one as well. I do find that it's a beautiful fabric. It's washable and it's really reflective too, and it has like a nice off-white color to it. So I'll make sure to link that one as well. Number 2 is dresses. So I do have a little client wardrobe that my clients can choose dresses from, and I do use mostly the Nothing Fits But dresses, which is an interesting brand name, but I do love the quality of the dresses from there, so I'll make sure to link them below as well. This is not something you need to offer clients, but as you grow in your business, it is a nice thing to offer, and it might win clients over to book with you rather than the other photographer that doesn't have any wardrobe. Number 3 is a changing tent. So I'll link the one that I have off Amazon. It was only like $60 Canadian, but it works great for my clients if they're gonna use any of the dresses from my wardrobe, or even if they're showing up, maybe they're coming straight from work. Again, it's just nice that they don't have to change in their car or at a gas station. I can quickly pop the tent up. It takes less than 5 seconds, and then it's this perfect spot for clients to change in. I feel like it also makes you look more professional as well. So again, it's one of those things that as you grow your business and you grow your clients, it's nice to have more things in your kit to show your clients that you're prepared. Number 4 is a wagon. So recently I've been bringing a wagon to my sessions because I shoot film, so I do have a couple camera bags with the film and the camera and my linen blankets. So it's kind of nice that I'll just bring around a wagon with me. That way I don't have to hold everything on my shoulders. And it's great, so if the parents have anything, you know, their purses, their bags, kids' toys, they can also throw it in the wagon as well, and they don't have to think about carrying things or forgetting things. And it's kind of nice because sometimes during a session you want to get those walking and those in-between shots, and if clients are always carrying stuff, you're having to constantly ask them to put them down before you take the shot. But if you can already have everything in your wagon, you know, your clients aren't holding anything, then you can always be capturing those candid moments, those walking shots, the in-between moments, without worrying if their purse is going to be in the photo. All right, number 5 is my double camera strap. So this is just my hold fast gear money maker camera strap, and obviously I need it because I shoot digital on one side and I have my film camera on the other. So that's great for me to be able to balance both cameras and easily shoot between the two without having to put things down in between. And lastly, I would definitely make sure to bring your Apple Watch or purchase one if you don't have one. It's been great for weddings, being able to have the timeline on the screen here. But during family sessions, I love it because if I can't remember everyone's names, I will write them in my notes. I'll write out, you know, the kids' names, the parents' names. I'll screenshot it and then set that as a photo for my background on the Apple Watch. So during the session, if I can't remember their names, I can quickly look down at my watch here and remember their names. You could also have photos for inspiration here as well that kind of cycle through every time you click on it. And that's worked well too for inspiration as I'm shooting. Oh, and also for mini sessions, that's worked great too, because I'll set a little reminder. So as soon as the session's finished, it'll give me a little ping, and then I know that I need to get ready for my next mini session. So highly recommend it. It's all around great, whether you're doing weddings, families, mini sessions. It really helps you stay on the ball and not have to look at your phone. Okay, so when you first show up to a family session, these are some tips and tricks just to make sure you get the most out of your session and your clients have the best experience possible. So again, first you're gonna wanna know all of their names, especially the kids. Introduce yourself, get used to the kids right away. You're gonna be taking lots of photos, so they need to feel comfortable with you and feel like you care about them. You're not just there to do your job. You actually care about the kids, the family, and making sure that they have a great time. So usually I'll go over to the kids, I'll compliment their outfits, or, you know, give them high fives, really just giving them the energy that I'm excited to take photos of them. I also make sure I get the kids' ages before the photo shoot, because if I'm gathering inspiration, photographing a 6-month-old is gonna look a lot different than photographing a 2-year-old that can walk and run. So make sure that you get the kids' ages, and that way when you show up to the shoot, you know exactly what type of session it's gonna be. If it's gonna be a lot of running around, you know, chasing a 2-year-old, maybe you're gonna need some toys or different things that you're gonna need to say to get them excited for the pictures. And another thing is to not overplan the photos. So even though you're looking at inspiration and gathering ideas, try not to overplan what types of poses or exactly what you're gonna shoot, just because with kids you need to be flexible and really just be able to plan on the spot and, you know, come up with ideas on the spot and just go with the flow and do lots of candid. So don't overplan and stress yourself out. Okay, before we get into the poses and instruction that I give my clients, I just want to remind you that we're telling a full story of the family session. So we don't want every shot of the family looking at the camera or all, you know, close-up shots. You want that variety. So I'm always trying to get far away shots of the family. Maybe they're walking in a field and it's a nice wide shot with them small in the frame. I find that that would be a great shot for them to frame big in their living room. So make sure you get that far away shot. Make sure you do some medium tight shots where you're just getting everyone in the frame and it kind of fills the image. And then also getting those close-ups. So I'm going to be showing examples of what I mean by this, but getting close-ups of each of the kids, going in nice and tight to their faces, getting that beautiful individual shot of the kids, and just making sure that you're getting a variety of different angles and shots, and it's not all just gonna look the same. Just think about if you were making a blog post or if you were making an album for this family, you're gonna need a variety of shots, little detail shots that tell a full story of the family. Okay, now we're going to talk about the different poses and instruction that I give my clients during their session. So when we first start off taking photos, my main goal is to get all the most important shots. So that means all the looking at the camera shots, making sure that the kids are looking at the camera, understanding that after 5-10 minutes, they're probably going to want to start running around. So make sure you make the most of those first 5 to 10 minutes and you get the photos of them looking at the camera, smiling, the traditional type poses. And then right after that, I try to do different combinations. So I might do mom with the kids and then dad with the kids, and then maybe individual shots of each kid. So really in those first 10 minutes, I'm just trying to get the most important shots just in case everything goes out the window and it gets crazy and I can't get those shots after 10 minutes. So make sure you focus on those important ones. After that, you can start having fun and doing more type of candids with the family. So one little thing that I like to do with my families, a little instruction that I give them, is for each of the parents to take either end of the blanket, and then I'll either have the kids running through and underneath the blanket, or they can just stand underneath, you know, have their hands up, let the blanket hit them. But it's just a fun way to get the parents and the kids enjoying themselves. The kids love it. I don't know why it's so fun for the kids, but they love running back and forth. So that makes for some great photos. And after you finish doing that, you can get them all sitting on the blanket because they'll probably have gotten some of their energy out. So it's a great way to quickly get the kids' energies out. And then you sit on the blanket, get some really beautiful posed, candid shots of the family sitting down together. And then of course, lots of walking shots. So you'll see in a lot of my sessions that I do a lot of walking shots away from the camera, toward the camera. And this is perfect for the kids, again, to get the energy out, and they obviously want to explore. So it's something that they love doing. And then I'll usually get the parents swinging the kids back and forth, or I'll have the kids on dad's shoulders. Another great pose if the kids are being fussy is to do some throwing shots. So I'll have the dad or the mom, you know, throw the kid in the air, it gets them excited, gets them happy. And then sometimes right after they throw them, we go in for that quick looking at the camera shot while the kid is still smiling. So that can be a great way to get them interacting again and excited for the photo. I also like to give instructions to the kids, like run and give mom a big hug or a big kiss, give dad a big kiss, just kind of encouraging them to show love to their parents. And you'll be surprised, you'll get some really cute moments, some really funny moments, but don't be afraid to give the kids some instructions and just make it fun for them. Again, they'll be able to tell if your voice sounds frustrated or if you're doing it just because you have to, but if you're saying it in a loving way and you're excited about it, the kid will sense that and they'll want to go along with it as well. And lastly, I just want to share a few things that have helped me when sessions aren't going my way or the kids are being fussy. Just little tips and tricks that I've learned to help the kids smile and have fun again. Usually playing peekaboo is a great option, so if there's somewhere for me to hide, I'll kind of jump out from the tree, or if I'm in a field, I'll even kind of hide in the grass, and then I'll jump out and say peekaboo, and then quickly snap a few shots. So doing things like that, although it does take a lot more energy out of you, it really gets the kids involved and it gets them smiling, gets them laughing, and they want to look at the camera, which is perfect. You don't even need an object to hide behind. Sometimes I can even just use my camera and, you know, do peekaboo with it back and forth. That gets their attention as well. Tickling the kids is another great thing to do. Sometimes I'll come in with my camera in one hand, and if it's like an 8-month-old, I can kind of tickle them, and then I step back and I quickly get the shots of him smiling. You can also have the parents tickling the kids. Both of them will tickle, and that'll get nice laughing shots of the child. Also, whenever you're shooting, you always want to remain positive. I know that sometimes it's tough when the frustration kicks in, or if the kids aren't listening at all, if they're going crazy, but just remember that you're being flexible. So if that means just chasing a kid for 30 minutes, you do what you got to do, and I'm sure you'll get some good shots here and there. And I've done sessions like that where the kid was having a tantrum. The mom was like, did we even get any good shots? And sure enough, when I sent her the gallery, she loved the whole gallery and purchased all of the images. So just a reminder to make the most out of your sessions and just work with the kids. Give them time. If they're having a tantrum, you know, leave them alone for a few minutes, even if you need to walk away, and just let the parents deal with it. Not rushing the families or putting them under pressure, and just letting them know, don't worry, take your time. I'm gonna be here, you know, do whatever you gotta do. We're not in a rush. So I always try to bring positivity to my shoots, and I'm always speaking life. So even if the kid is acting a little crazy, I'll still compliment them. I'll still say, oh, you're doing such a great job. Oh, I love the smile. That's a great smile. Again, speaking those words of life. And I notice that even if they aren't smiling, but I say that, they'll start smiling. So again, use your words, speak life, and declare what you want to see and what you want to happen. Another thing to get the kids to smile is using words for them to say. So sometimes I'll get them to say ice cream, or even just something random like elephant, or what sound does a dog make? Ruff, ruff. Just getting them to interact helps them to smile and want them to be focused on you. And that kind of goes into using bribes. So I know not every family likes doing this, but I definitely find it makes a big difference if the parents do have a bribe for after the shoot. So if they're telling the kids they're gonna get lollipops or ice cream or something like that, it really helps the kids behave well. And I have noticed that it does make a difference. So you gotta do what you gotta do to get those great photos. And sometimes that does mean offering a bribe. Okay guys, well, those are all my tips and tricks for family sessions, the different gear that I use. I hope that it was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to put them below. And also let me know what you want my next video to be on. If there's something specific that you would like to know, feel free to put that in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. And I'm excited to keep coming out with some more videos. Thank you all for watching. Jesus loves you so much. And if you don't have a relationship with him, call on Jesus' name. I had a personal encounter with God when I was 18, which was 10 years ago, and it changed my life, and it's still changing my life to this day. So I highly encourage you to seek truth. And if you have any questions about any of this, always feel free to reach out. I can always pray with you, encourage you, whatever you need. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video.